that bottle of wine. Grab your favorite glass, pour a couple of fingers of scotch in it. Get that stick, light it, and blow. It's time to hang with Steel Sharpen Steel After Dark.
Hello, Sharpies. I'm Tom Cunningham.
I'm Joy Stevens.
And this is Steel Sharpen Steel After Dark. I was trying to point to you, but I forgot which finger I needed to point to.
You forgot.
Yeah,
I'm pointing to you, right? Okay.
Yeah, you are.
The other one.
We'll just go both ways and she'll figure it out. Welcome, Sharpies. We are so happy to be back here again with you each and every week. This has, we're keeping it after dark mostly, at least until Pete Hegseth has been fired. Yes. So hopefully.
And first of all, hey, Anthony, Anthony's probably gonna be in here. As soon as I set the show up, it was like, and here. But the After Dark, it started off kind of as a little bit of a joke, and then it was like a way, like if we had something kind of volatile we wanted to talk about. But at this moment in time, given the current state of affairs, I need this. I don't know about Tom, but I need to be able to speak my whole mind.
Absolutely.
Unfettered, unvarnished, unfiltered. And honestly, I don't care if nobody, please watch the show, but I don't care if nobody watch the show because I'm over here getting things off my chest. And I hope that y'all find some catharsis in what we do as well. So Phil, come through. Y'all know about Phil. Phil is a secret spy, but it's my homeboy. He is very, very well versed in this political sphere, and I'm really proud of him. So proud of you, Phil.
And maybe we'll get Phil on the show again. While we're talking about and things that perhaps should not have happened, can we kick off the show with Uncle Shay Shay? Is that possible? I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. That's why but it is in our pop culture landscape. So all I will say is that, bruh, you out here doing Rose Sparks commercials for this little 21-year-old, because it was a 2-year relationship, started when she was 19. And bruh,
you nasty.
Nasty. It could not possibly have been worth it.
No.
And
in no universe was that a good decision
at all.
And why do people keep thinking that? I mean, what's your girl name? No Pain, No Gain. That the woman that sang that song.
Oh yeah, no pain.
Yeah, but she said, "What's done in the dark will come to light." Now that wasn't. She wouldn't invent that phrase, but that's the last time I remember hearing it. I'm just. Why do people keep thinking that they're going to be incognito? If you got any sort of celebrity or ex-girlfriend with a beef, your stuff is coming out, right?
And listen, if what you're doing in the dark is done to a white, it's definitely going to come out.
Right. Betty Wright.
Thank you. It was Betty Wright. That's right.
Betty Wright. Her nasty self. But okay. Vacated city council seat.
Okay.
All right, girl. Good luck,
Sharpies. You know where you need to send your bus tokens. Go ahead and send them to Phil.
Go ahead and get that Act Blue donation of $25.
Right.
To I want to say it's Sierra Vista. I might be saying too many things. It's somewhere in Arizona. Oh, now I've done it all. But city council seat.
That's great. Yeah. Congratulations. We got power Sharpies.
Right. Super Sharpies.
Mm-hmm. Super Sharpies.
Mm-hmm.
You got the fine tip Sharpies, and you got them thick ass Sharpies, and you got them poster ass Sharpies. So
right, and then you got Anthony, who is his own category. He's a highlighter.
He's the highlighter.
Mm-hmm. Hype man.
So listen, Shannon, first of all,
you're on your own, bro. First of all,
you're on your own because I didn't even know why it's Club Shay Shay. Club Shan is better than Shay Shay. I just don't. Or Club Sharp. but then you'd be encroaching. I'm just glad you don't call your people Sharpies, because that would be a whole thing for us
Right.
that we don't need. But I'm just gonna say, all of them texts that she was sending you
Bruh.
are are completely negated by that one text where she told you no.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what her attorney says. You could have sex 100 times consensually until she says no. And that's where you messed up. And now you're voluntarily stepping down from ESPN, bruh. I hope you got lots of cognac and cigars in your podcast, because it's going to be a second, bruh. You see what they did to Jonathan
Shay Shay
Major?
was his locker room nickname. Okay.
That's okay.
Okay. But still, you ain't had to use it again. I'm just saying.
You sure didn't.
But pursuant to what you're saying, I want all people to understand that you don't have to record everything. You don't have to take pictures of everything. Nobody ever has to send a dick pic ever again in life. That can be a thing that ends this year. For the price of a cup of coffee, we can end dick pics this year.
We don't need another dick pic. We don't need another dick pic. We don't need to know your rose sparks. What white will come out in dark.
Exactly. I'm glad you did that, because my rhyme scheme was going to go a whole different way and it was going to be nasty.
So Shannon, listen, make better choices, bro, in the future. Like Monique said, and Monique called it. Mm-hmm. Monique called it like a year or two ago.
Right. She was like, you need to quit messing with this young nonsense and get you a grown woman that knows how to cook you some dinner and keep your secret.
Listen, because the old sisters, all they want is just some sassification.
With the level of libido that he was clearly showing this woman, any woman my age would have been like, "That's my man. Mm-hmm.
Come on,
I'm stand by him." But no, you out here looking for someone that has never had a stretch mark because they ain't done growing yet, right? What? I said what I said.
Okay, I'm just gonna say this. As a man, I didn't see nary wrinkle, crease, pucker, or pustule on that one picture that she put out there. I'm not saying that would have been enough to tip the scales because she a child. But I'm not saying I agree, but I understand. The picture that's out there, which is probably not anything close to real life, she was viable. Mm-hmm. She just way too young, and he don't got no sense.
She was green bananas. Look. Real firm. Real firm and gonna be real good once they get right. But bruh, could you wait? Could you wait? Because now you got food poisoning.
You went from the plantain to the plantation and got caught out there pulling your quota. Now, ooh, wow.
Right. She's wrecking exactly. And you know what? There's levels to this game, especially to this sex game. Because I'm gonna tell you like this. So first, I got two things because I forgot this a moment ago. I'm gonna say this is going to be politically incorrect, but I'm going to say what I believe to be the truth. And I want you to know that. And this is not something that I would encourage other people to repeat. But most women, most people, most human beings ain't gonna never be as fine as they was when they was 18 years old. I ain't gonna never look that good again. And I look good. I mean, I can catch what I want. Yeah. However, I look at the pictures of my no cellulite, no scars, no battle weary, all of that. Body was tight, stomach was flat, boobs was like up under my chin. Like I ain't gonna never be that fine again. So I understand the appeal. I've done enough coaching of like high school teams and whatnot, even though they were girls' high school teams. I remember looking at the boys' step team being that little boy gonna be fine when he get older. Like I remember having that thought one day and then thinking I should leave this school right now. because you ain't gonna catch me messing with no jailbait. We need to bring back that phrase, jailbait, to remind people this is a criminal offense, or at least a heavy civil case. And stay out the halls of the high schools. I'm talking to you too, LL Cool J. I love you, but I remember what the Lisa got a big old butt. I was trolling the high school. I remember that. It hits different when you in your 40s. LL, why are you at the high school? What the hell was you doing?
Don't stand so, don't stand so close to me.
Oh, some of us still using our 17-year-old eyes.
Wow.
Look.
My
They call
17-year-old
that body
eyes require
dysmorphia.
readers.
Right. They call that body dysmorphia nowadays because what you see, what you think ain't matching.
So, I said plantain to plantation. Joy titled this week's episode, there's sinners and then there's demons. We are not going to spoil Sinners. We both have now seen it. Joy had not seen it last week, but we have now both seen it. So, go.
So I want to take this.
See it.
Go see it. Go see it multiple times because you're going to catch something on the second viewing that you didn't. And I was watching it with an eye for detail the first time. I thought I saw everything. I went with Miles Simmons, who's in here, and even then we were sitting there watching the same thing, and I was like, "Did you see this?" And he's like, "I didn't see that." So again, you never know. But then he saw something, and I was like, "Oh, that's what that meant." And then once you've seen it, and you can get into the discussion that is continuing to happen on Threads or Instagram, or wherever you get your pop culture stuff from, then you realize, oh, this is what that meant. I didn't know the history of this. I didn't understand the implications of that. That's what that figure was. That's who that was. When you get all of that detail and that history, you understand that Ryan Coogler did his damn homework. He did your homework. He did my homework. He did the Native Americans' homework. And this is not a spoiler, but when the credits are rolling, if you pay attention, it says Native American Choctaw consultant, Asians in the Delta consultant, is African griot consultant. Like he went and asked people, how do I represent this specific thing correctly? Instead of the hubris and the Dunning-Kruger that some people have of, oh, I know I'm a 70-year-old white man, but I think I can write a black character. Hey, Jive Turkey, what you be doing in my life? What is this?
I ain't got no women.
We's been good today, so what the hell is happening right now?
So there's a whole lot to absorb in this film, a whole lot. But it should be said that this is not a vampire movie. If you are going because you've seen that there are fangs and that stuff, this is not a vampire movie in the way that like Blade is explicitly a vampire movie, or a vampire movie in the way that Nosferatu or The Last Voyage of the Demeter or whatever. This is a historical story. It's about the blues and the tensions between the church and blues musicians. It's about entrepreneurship in a post-Reconstruction South. It's about the tenuous balance between people of different races coming together to support each other. You've got interracial relationship stuff going on. You've got the Chinese shop owners going on. You've got sharecroppers going on. You've got plantation money going on. You've got all of these wonderful, rich stories. And then there are also vampires in it because they serve a particular purpose.
Right.
But this is
they are a vehicle for delivering plot
a
movement.
particular turn in the action. It is not like, oh, I wonder what a vampire, how is this person dying? What has happened to them? No. Sister Girl clocks that they vampires 5 minutes after the first attack. And so, and it's a known thing. And so unlike a lot of vampire movies where either people are clueless of what a vampire is because they're
28 days later.
Well, or vampires just have never existed in this world.
Right.
And so they're a brand new thing.
Right.
Neither of which works with modern audiences because modern audiences have been living with vampires on film for 100 years. So the idea that some people would not know what a vampire is kind of silly. Yeah, it's not. Ryan
I want to talk about a couple of things though, because like these last two comments, he wrote the screenplay in 2 months, and this one, Sinners debuting over Easter weekend feels like a weird choice. So sometimes when you are burdened with enormous talent, right, blessed with enormous talent, you are given a message and a mission, right? And so he talked about grieving his uncle. As a matter of fact, he dedicates the movie to his uncle, and that the screenplay was him completing that grieving process and using some of the aspects of the life that his uncle lived to create this story, you know, and then adding in things to make it like a good movie, etc. But 2 months is, I got to get this out right now. Being the debuting over Easter weekend, and Easter weekend is not really a Christian thing anyway. People need to understand that Easter weekend is the spring solstice, the same way Christmas is winter solstice. They're like, you know what? Jesus is a Capricorn, but we're gonna go ahead and put this in December because more people will rock with it, and it'd be easier to convert them.
Jesus is a Capricorn, get him on Christmas Day. Jesus is a Capricorn, get him on Christmas Day. It's. Can we talk about the Kugler of it though? This young man is so damn talented to write and direct, and without spoiling anything about the film, the fact that he got first dollar profit participation.
Well, you got a banger.
Then the film rights revert to him after 25 years.
Because this is mine.
That's 2. This is mine. Wrote and directed it. Get it right. And also that he had final cut. The studio could not say, can you add in a scene where she puts some Uncle Ben's fried rice on the show? No, none of that. He gets the final cut. And, onto the Easter weekend thing, this is a story about resurrection.
To some extent, it's also a story about the way we experience, or the way we put a square peg in a round hole when it comes to our religion versus our spirituality. We're going to make it fit. We're going to make it work. We're going to do what it do. We're going to avoid some things so that everything works the way we want it to in our mind. We're going to have cognitive dissonance around the religion that we grew up with. All of that is covered in this vampire movie, right?
And when you remember, in the original mythology of vampirism, it was a 3-day cycle too. It was not.
That's right. You
in modern vampire movies, they turn, and in this movie, they turn very quickly. But if you go back to the original source material of like Dracula and stuff, they were buried. It wasn't like 5 minutes later, like a zombie virus, they just get up and they're vampires. They were buried, and then they'd come out of their tombs. All of it was kind of like a dark mirror of the resurrection cycle, not only of Jesus, but also of Horus or Horus, depending on how you pronounce it. All of these mythologies that had aspects of death and rebirth.
But the cycle of death and rebirth itself is a universal idea. Again, we're looking at the spring solstice, rebirth of the earth. Right?
Exactly. And so to the extent that this movie does lean heavily into religion, the lead character making his film debut, he's super talented, is the son of a preacher. And I've actually heard, because one of my chapter brothers actually played with him when he was much younger, and to hear his voice as like a young tenor versus this deep bass he has now, baritone as a blues singer, and he learned how to play blues guitar by practicing for 5 hours a day for 2 months.
Right, for this movie. That's dedication.
So it's dedication, and it is such a treat. It is so enjoyable. And the second time I watched the film, I watched it with my older son. and to kind of turn, because I knew when stuff was coming. And so I'd kind of turn and look at him and just see him smiling on the same things that I laughed about, or the same things I thought were, really engaging. Also, all of the actors are absolutely wonderful. Wunmi, who plays Annie, who is the love interest of Smoke, which is one of the twins. Oh, okay. So the blue twin is Smoke, and the red twin is Stack. Stack usually wears a hat. Smoke doesn't have a tie. And so these are how you're going to kind of, because it does get confusing. The first time I saw it, I got a little confused because both of the people in the movie, both of the brothers in the movie have a love interest. And actually in this poster,
they're
the
opposite.
love interests are reversed.
Mm-hmm.
So
and
Movies character Annie is with Smoke, and Mary is with Stack.
And if you look to the picture on the right, there was a color scheme difference in the movie where one tended to wear more like burgundy and red, and that was Stack, and Smoke tended to wear more blue. And that's one of the things where I'm not gonna spoil it for you, absolutely not. But it's one of the things that was discussed ad nauseum on social media. So again, if you've been trying to block social media so that it won't, sir, you are not waiting for it to go to streaming. You're gonna
get your ass into the theater.
Right.
Samuel Levon. Stop it. You don't wait for
now,
shit. This is a good
if you're going to pay for it as soon as it gets to streaming on the rental or whatever, I might let you slide with that. But I need you to give money to this movie. Not that it's not doing well. I want it to show out. You know what I'm saying?
And let's be clear. So it had an opening domestic gross of 48 million, which they thought that it might not surpass the Minecraft movie. They thought the Minecraft movie was actually going to be number one, but it outpaced it by $8 million, which is good. The domestic gross as of today, which is including yesterday's money, not today's money, it's up to 71 million in the week. It's going to probably double its gross between the opening weekend and this next weekend.
I'll let you have it. So pay to rent it. Don't wait until it's free. Because if you wait that long, honestly, it'll be spoiled all to hell and back by the time you see it.
No,
although even then, it's still worth seeing.
And if you have the capability of seeing it, thank you, Wunmi Masaki. If you have the capability of seeing it during the week, it'll be less fractious than if you try to go on the weekend.
Yeah, I was able to see it in IMAX during the week, and there is a difference. I will say it's slight. So if you're not a big movie going type person, it may not be worth it to see it in IMAX. But I noticed the difference. I saw it first on a regular screen, and then I saw it on that, and I was like, ooh, you feel a little bit more immersed. And seeing it with this fool, because you got to understand that Miles has a special love for Jill Scott and now Wunmi Masaki. So sitting next to someone and hear them go, was a lot.
Listen, I saw something that was talking about tall, thick, fine Black women, and the fact that Coogler made her an object of desire to this actor, this character, who looks like Michael B. Jordan, which is a man that most women objectively find attractive. And he is in love with Annie. And so that is a choice, a conspicuous choice, and a wonderful choice in and of itself.
And it's a practical and realistic choice.
Yep.
Because let's talk about the history of beauty standards. So as much as we live in this United States, for a long time you had that. Remember Uma Thurman and the heroin chic, and bones showing out like up here was like in for a minute. Looking sick was in for a minute. Kate Moss, that walk sideways in the rain type of thing. Like people told you that was in. However, if you look historically at what men across all color schemes have been attracted to, them thighs don't lie. Where they say thick girls are made for cuddling, right? I've never been a small girl, and I've never had a problem. Right. So, and that's not just me, and it's not just the skin tone either. I've seen brown skinned girls with big booties, etc. It's not about having a flat waist. It's about being comfortable in your skin and letting that confidence attract people to you. right? And so the way she moves, the look on her
Mm-hmm.
face. She walks out, and this is not a spoiler. She walks out the first time you see her. She got on a corseted gun belt, right? And she's just doing housework, and she looks freaking amazing. And
Amazing.
why wouldn't you love everything about her? And you could tell there's a moment. You could tell as they're both professionals and actors, but I caught a moment where Michael B. Jordan is faced with, the mountains of paradise, if you will. And there's almost a moment
Hello!
where he was like,
Come
I'm about to
on! I'm getting close.
He didn't do it, but he
He just
wanted to.
he laid his head so gently on those beloveds that
Mhm.
you could definitely the tension was tensioning.
Mhm.
It is a wonderful, wonderful film. So layered,
Pinup girls
so
look
rich.
sick, so rich. But Phil's
Yeah,
point, Marilyn Monroe was a solid
yeah,
size
yeah, yeah.
10, right? She wasn't no wayfish girl. That's something that they developed because when you can't get the goods, but you got the money to control the narrative, you tell people that the goods are not wanted.
Right.
Which is why we have this thing, especially in the United States, where nobody wants to be black, but everybody wants to look black because they know black. Matter of fact, fun fact, and y'all feel free to Google it if I'm wrong, but this is what I've come to understand. The late 1800s, early 1900s, the straight dress with the bustle on the back was because there was such a heavy presence of well-endowed black women, African diasporic women across London and the United States, that people noticed that white men were paying attention to the bump, so they just put a bump back there in the form of, I forget what it's called, a bustle. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
the
gonna just put
bustle.
some. It was an early stage Brazilian butt lift. I'm
Listen,
not gonna make it permanent, but I'm gonna put something back there because I know that's what they like. So you can tell me that my skin color is ugly all day, but I know what you want. I'm just saying. I think people think attractive is not just about physical beauty. You're right.
it's
Because I've seen some people that have very symmetrical and class, like you might say, socially acceptable, attractive faces, and they just ugly to me because they ugly acting. Mm-hmm.
I saw an IG reel today. It was an
That's
animated
true.
pastor,
Mm-hmm.
and he was saying, "Imagine if you woke up smelling as stank as you act."
Ooh.
He said you would never walk out the house.
It'd be some
Some of
pig pens up
y'all,
in here.
that's what he said. I mean, and he gave so many different metaphors. I was like, well, damn, Pastor, damn, Pastor, damn, Pastor. But at the end of the day, he was like, because some of y'all
Your attitude
stank
stank.
on the inside.
Yes.
Your acting stank. And there's even a little bit of that in Sinners. So, how there are any number of different scenes where people are being judged. Smoke definitely judges the people with their plantation money. And Mary, who is the mixed race love interest that Stack used to take up with, she is judged as a white woman, and then the people who actually know her in the community embrace her as Mary because they've known her all their
Since she was
lives.
little.
But the characters that don't know her, particularly Sammy, the guitarist, the main character, he thinks she's white. And then on second glance, he's like, well, maybe she's not white. But then by the time they encounter each other again, he's presuming that she's white. And then once they sit down, he actually asks, what are you?
Right. Because that boy was confused.
He was confused. And so Ryan Coogler does such a wonderful job of being layered and sensitive and intelligent about the story he's trying to tell. And he really does include a lot of the drama of the South. And for people who might otherwise be inclined to pass this up, I'll just say that the closing scene of the movie is very satisfying. very satisfying.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm not sure who they are, but they're calling this an all genre movie, which could be a new genre in and of itself. Because
right.
yeah, it's a Western. Yeah, it's a period
Mhm.
piece. It's a love story. It's a horror flick. It's a social commentary. It's a documentary. It's all the things, right?
It is.
And this is, and not only, okay, people are praising Ryan Coogler for the deal that he struck with Warner Brothers around the rights to this movie, and he gets the rights to this movie back in 25 years, but he also maintains the rights to any spinoff in this world.
Right, correct.
So anything else that he creates is going to be his as well. They can't do nothing and say like, oh, this is from the world of. No, it ain't. Not if Ryan ain't doing it. Because remember, he wrote this with his uncle's life, so to speak.
Mhm.
This is his blood is in this, figuratively speaking and literally.
And
But if you think about what he did with that deal, that is an amazing feat. It's not unprecedented. I think Tarantino got a deal like that once before. Some precedent for a black director.
Well,
But he also has set a new level of expectation for the research that we expect to be done if you want to have a successful movie around whether it was the times, the demographics, the population, the representation, getting all that right. He showed you, I did all of this. I got all of this perfect. I researched everything under $100 million. So don't tell me it's too expensive to do it. Don't tell me you couldn't find somebody. If you any other director or producer that says, "Well, we couldn't find anyone that knew about," did you ask Ryan? Because Ryan might know somebody. Step your game up.
Yeah, no, it's amazing, and to see, the Minecraft movie only had a 25% slip from its opening, and of course it's at $700+ million worldwide right now. Ryan's film is at, I think, 85 worldwide right now, which is certainly nothing to sneeze at.
Right. It's an art house film, though.
But it's going to have legs. What, like they say in the industry, it's going to have legs.
Because
so
if you ain't seen Minecraft by now, you're probably not going to see it.
No, because all the hype is gone. I mean, it was front loaded is what they call a movie like Minecraft. And like I said, it had a good hold. So it's certainly, that's a successful movie. Nobody's saying anything bad about Minecraft movie. But Sinners is an excellent movie that is also going to be successful. So you have to bear in mind that one of the things that enabled Ryan Coogler to make some of the demands that he did is that over the course of his 5 or 6 movies that he's released, first of all, none of them have been flops. They've all been
100% bangers.
100%. Even people who didn't particularly like Wakanda Forever, I'm like, bro, you got to realize he lost his star. Leave Wakanda Forever alone. It still made $800 million.
It was still a good movie. If you didn't cry, at the end, who are you?
It just wasn't the movie that we wanted to see because we wanted to see Chadwick. But
unless you got some mediums in your back pocket, you wasn't going.
Well, no, absolutely no. Yeah. And when Baby T'Challa, Child T'Challa, whatever, it shows up at the end, and
Chalito,
who he actually is, and Chalito. So it's amazing. $2.3 billion worldwide box office from this director across like 4 or 5 films, so 5 or 6 films. So that's why he got the deal because he's demonstrated.
He is 8-0. I think he's done 8 movies or however many movies he's done. He's that many and he ain't missed. Not like your boy M. Night Shyamalan, who be out here just doing whatever.
I mean, Jordan Peele. Let's keep it a buck.
Yeah,
Jordan Peele came out the box hot with Get Out,
and then Us was good. Nope was kind of.
I enjoyed Nope, but I thought the ending was trash.
I enjoyed it, right?
Yeah,
but it wasn't Get Out.
It was not, and Us wasn't Get Out,
right?
And
for Ryan Coogler to have such a great body of work, to have this now, bruh, he's still on a rise and doing amazing work. It's Sinners a revenge type movie. There are aspects of maybe not necessarily revenge, but definitely justice. Definitely justice is served several times throughout the movie. So
I will just tell you, Samuel, you talked about the times we're living in. The closing sequence of this movie will give you life. Let me just say that. So if you wanted to look, at a film that'll give you a little pep in your step as you're walking out the theater, that last scene, the daylight scene.
Yeah.
But that will definitely do it for
Watch
you.
the movie.
And then right, and there are 2 closing credit sequences. One
Stay
is
till the
definitely,
lights come up.
yeah, stay until they turn on the lights and Nicole Kidman is sweeping up popcorn. You want to see the whole thing. The second one is not as impactful to me as the first one. It's impactful for a different reason.
Right.
It's a callback.
Yeah, it's just a little. That's more of
A
a
moose
fan
bouche.
service, if you will. A moose bouche.
Correct.
Perfect. Yeah. Now let's talk about Jordan Peele, because he does have another movie coming out called Him.
But he didn't direct it.
Oh, he didn't direct it. So that might be another reason that Jordan is kind of, got some stuff that's great and some stuff that's not so great, because he directed Get Out, right?
Yes.
And he produced
and Us.
Did he direct? No.
Yes.
Okay, so he's just producing, but naturally, because this is a movie that they've placed under the horror genre, you see previews for Him by Jordan Peele in this movie. Jordan Peele, that boy ain't right. Whatever's going on, is something. But I would say that Jordan does more horror genre movies. They are specifically a psychological thriller or contemporary horror, with inventive new ideas. Everything that he's done, I thought have been very good. And they are centered around Black people, the Black experience, etc. Ryan is that dude, though. What Ryan is doing is different. I can't even articulate it well to say, like we mentioned earlier, this is a love letter and a historical archivist level expression of art with some vampires in it. Right.
It could have, and when you think about Ryan Coogler's filmography, he has done a superhero film, 2 superhero films. He's done a straight biopic in Fruitvale Station of a real life story. He's done a sports genre film in Creed
3 times.
Yeah, well, Michael B. Jordan directed Creed 3.
Did he? I forgot that part.
That was his debut. So
that's how good Michael was at it. Is that I thought it was Ryan.
So the point is that he hasn't missed, and he's playing in a bunch of different sandboxes. When Martin Scorsese was 5 films in, it was all gritty, crime, urban, blah, blah, blah. Woody Allen, urbane, adult, sexy comedies, slice of life in Manhattan. That was his ooze until he started breaking out eventually into other stuff. Ryan's been dipping and dabbing and punching and jabbing and doing a lot of different things all at once. So,
the draft is going on right now?
Oh, I guess so. Thank you. So it's just go see the movie. And we'll stop talking about it now so that you can go see it.
We'll stop talking about sinners, but that's the thing. Real art moves you. I can't stop talking about this. No. I managed to put Sinners into the presentation that I did for work earlier today. I was finishing up my presentation, and I'm really good friends. I'm really in well with this particular client, so I'm in their like online chat groups on Teams and whatnot. So I knew that a group of them had gone to see the movie, but we're finishing up this whole communication skills, blah blah blah, and my thing is, we were done at this time, but I still got time. If y'all want to stick around, just let me know. I'm here. For those of y'all that want to stick around, I'm going to walk away real slow just in case you change your mind. And I did that, and I got several people go, ah. So I am obsessed with breaking down this movie, and I've been all across. Any moment that I have free, I'm going to check threads to see what's the new theory. What are they talking about now? And then people... Yes, I was at work bringing up Sinners, and I got no regrets, and I'll do it again.
In a heartbeat.
Let's thank God's Ryan's wife had $300 and a belief in her.
Yep.
And this is why, get you a good woman. Don't be going back around. Get you a good woman with $300 and a belief in her man, as opposed to a 19-year-old with receipts
and
an ass. Right. But this movie is a heavenly mixture that hits so many layers of life and history. Yes.
Right.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Yes to Miss Adita. So yeah, we're going to jump off that. So we said we were going to talk about Sinners. And he was going to talk about them demons. Samuel, you look, we didn't talked about Shay Shay and his nonsense. We're not giving that any more airtime because, bro, you on Shannon, you on your own, bro. I ain't got nothing to say to defend you. I'm not even going to. Hey,
Again.
it is what it is, bro. You knew what you was doing when you did it. And that's all I got to say about that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That was not
right.
Not a good look. So on to
moving
demons.
into the demons section of the show. You want to? Did we talk about Hesketh already?
No, we didn't really talk about Hexeth. So,
Hexeth,
well, don't feel ashamed because the Secretary of State didn't even pronounce his name right. Hell's breath is what I call him. So we all know about Signalgate.
Mm-hmm.
Signalgate 2.0 is that at least almost everybody in the original Signalgate, with the exception of the Atlantic reporter, actually was a part of the decision-making team. And most of them, like there were a lot of bigwigs on there who did have full security clearance and so would be completely fine with having that information, even if you gotta take down her thing. You can't see Hegseth's comment. There you go.
Yeah.
I'm killing my liver and I killed the Pope.
Mm-hmm.
So
JD Vance is a whole demon. Because he didn't kill 2 people. Didn't he kill some folks in India?
Yeah, 24 people.
Yes.
Don't just keep it on the 2.
He might be the devil.
So with Hegseth, he had a second signal chat, one that was inherited from before his confirmation. It was called a Defense Huddle Group. So these were his advisors who were going to help him get through the confirmation. Okay, so fine.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that had his wife in it, former Fox producer. It had his brother, who he got a cushy Pentagon job with no qualifications. And it included some other people, none of whom had security clearance. Everybody on the signal chat, except for the Atlantic reporter Goldberg, everybody was in the mix. Everybody at least could have.
At least they work for the government.
At least they work for the government. This new signal chat, none of these people had any security clearance, and none of them were a part of the defense apparatus at all. And well, except his brother who works for the Pentagon because he got his brother a job at the Pentagon. But even then, he wouldn't be on the need to know basis of this. So he's just going back and forth. And Signalgate 2.5, 0.0, 0.6, 0.1.5, 145927, whatever. He had his staff install Signal on his work computer. So you talk about a person who like literally has 0 F's to give. That's Pete Hegseth. Hey, Pete, you shouldn't be using Signal. Oh, okay, yeah, no, we won't use Signal anymore. Hey, can you get that on my laptop so I can use it?
Mm-hmm. Yes, he did it again. And the how.
Oh, no, it was at the same time. To be clear, we're just now finding out about the second chat. The second chat was contemporaneous. He was literally copying and pasting into one chat and then pasting into the other chat. Almost identical information. And
the question is, how is he still employed?
That is the question, because he fired 3 people that he accused of leaking. And Caroline is saying that they were fired for releasing confidential information, yet the information in the Signal chat was not considered confidential. But what they
this dude said a state secret
of the Signal chat is confidential. Make it make sense.
It makes sense if you recognize that this is all about their regime being in absolute control. If you expect to soon achieve your goal of absolute control, you don't give a fuck what you do in the meantime. Right? Who cares what I do? Because I'm about to be vizier for life in a minute.
Not vizier for life. She pulled it all the way back to Jafar.
That's exactly who I was thinking of.
You need to give Jafar your staff. It's like, okay. I don't know. And the fact that Trump is standing behind him should be cold comfort, because he's going to stand behind him just long enough to push him onto the tracks once the replacement is lined up.
Yeah, you don't want
Because
you
you're
don't want
only
something behind
good,
you
you're
for no
only a
reason.
smart genius until he says you're not.
Right. And then you're the worst ever and an idiot and you don't know how they got there. Right.
And it wasn't me who chose him. It was people on
Mhm.
my team who thought he would be a good fit.
I didn't even
And
really know him. Yeah, I thought it was weird the first time, but I thought they knew what they were doing.
right.
And yes, you know what? I would prefer Jafar because at least he was smart.
Yeah. And arguably a better parent.
Right? When we start missing Bush, that's where we are. The good old days. Right? Maba, make America Bush again. Like I would be okay with that. Knowing what I know now, I would take another several years of anyone previous, except Reagan.
Just an accidental breakdown of the global markets, not an intentional one.
Right. Because an accidental breakdown can be handled, because one thing about Bush is he was willing to listen to other people.
Absolutely.
Right. And
That's
his
what Cheney
ego
was.
didn't say what?
That's what Cheney was. Cheney was the emergency brake.
Cheney was smart as hell. He was evil, but he was smart. He wasn't going to shoot himself in the foot, right? He might shoot somebody else in the face, but he wasn't going to shoot himself in the foot.
He wasn't going to shoot the country in the foot. He had too much invested in the country.
Right. Simple idiocy is much less harmful than purposeful. It's not even idiocy. Recklessness. They run
recklessness and fecklessness.
Yes, reckless and feckless.
Because let's be clear, he was talking cash shit about China.
Right.
Cash shit about China. And do you know the Chinese? When I tell you, the Chinese are the deans of pledges of a 1989 line, because they hazed the fuck out of his ass.
Yes. You talk about smoke. You don't want no smoke with the Chinese.
You sure don't. You certainly don't want a smoky eye, Vance, with Chinese mascara. Because,
right.
Oh,
Lord. Can you pull that up? Because I couldn't get it to load. I sent it to you over text message. I'm a filibuster while he looks for something I sent him earlier, and talk about the Chinese and the negative level of fucks that they give right now. I actually am kind of rooting for them. I'm an American, but at this moment, I am looking at what they're doing, and it is bringing me happiness, even though it is to my own detriment, because they really don't give a damn. And not only it's global. Not only are they telling America to get stuffed, they're telling Great Britain, we don't give a fuck about y'all neither. All you little tiny white countries, y'all don't make up a third of our population together. So get your mind right. You mean nothing to me. I am as far beyond mutants as mutants are beyond humans. Like, they so advanced beyond us that they don't give a damn what's happening. They look at us and they know we're living in their last century. Right. They out here. People like, you see people all the time. Oh, Japan or China in this case. China's living in the future. No, they're not. They're living in 2025. Their version is just better because, as they said, all of the exploitative money that they've made, they put it back into their people, into their infrastructure, into their economy. Whereas all the similarly exploitative money that America made, 9 people sent rockets into space so they could like jack off on the moon or whatever it is they're doing up there. That's all it is, right?
You said jack off on the moon.
That's what they're doing. Get your moon rocks off. I mean, that's what they're doing. China, they don't give a fuck, but they'll sell it to you for 35 cents a piece. Yes, they will. You should not want smoke with China.
They really don't.
No. Yeah, with a billion plus population. Now, this is where American education system has started to break down. I have spoken with at least bachelor degree level people who have good corporate jobs who don't realize how very small America's population is relative to the rest of the world. They think that we are a global superpower because we got the numbers. No, we just got a lot of guns. We got a lot of guns, a lot of nukes, and a lot of loud mouth. But like China said, we don't care if we lose 5% of our exports, because you know who'll take it? Australia is the white cousins that sneak out and come to the club at night. You know what I'm saying? Because Great Britain is over here being Great Britain, empire building. Remember, Australia, they got abandoned. They got put up for adoption a long time ago. Right now, they got their own problems because I've seen how they treat the Aboriginals people in Australia. There's that. However, they over here like, oh, what, y'all got some extra exports? We'll take it. Canada is in on it. Everybody is telling America, you stink. And we don't want to have nothing to do with you. And we will create a new global world order without you.
Right.
And this is where the hubris of American exceptionalism is coming home to bite us in the ass, right? Because they're like, yo, we got this, we got that. We're America. And everybody else is like, yeah, and don't nobody care. We'll do this without you. And we're going to find ourselves becoming other countries' cheap labor. Give it a generation. If we don't right the ship when we have a chance, because we still have a chance. But you know, right now, people making Trump 2028 shirts because they are full on delusional. But if he remains unchecked, it's not outside the possibility. I'm saying this, you know, knowing full well that if he declares martial law, the game changes. Thank you very much, Dana Cunningham, Mrs. Cunningham, original people of Australia, not Aboriginal. Right. Thank you. I use an outdated word, and I appreciate the correction. But yeah, we've got a window of opportunity to right the ship in the United States before we are completely committed to a future that we don't want. Things the best way I can say that. This is a great point that Phil is saying. We spin big, but they do big.
Right. They're actually making it.
Mm-hmm.
And we are not.
And so we had this conversation. I think you and I had it last week, or maybe I've had it with several people. But the idea that just throwing a 600%, if you want to, tariff on China is going to bring American jobs back to what factory, with whose materials, in what city, when you building this, and how long does it take to build the factory, and then who you going to train to work in it because they don't have those skills, you know? So yeah, the world will move on. The world will go on without the United States, and we'll be back here with coal mining jobs because y'all want your coal back so bad. You'll get it.
Clean coal.
Clean coal.
Beautiful clean coal.
Mm-hmm.
The cleanest fuel we have. Okay, here we go. We have.
I told you multiple times, and you can come on the show whenever you're ready. Just let us know.
A bajillion times, like literally a bajillion times. All right, here is the video that we're talking about. I don't know if there's audio with it because of what I had to use to download it, but here is the video we're talking about. They are clowning. And so there is a voiceover that's saying, best quality, guaranteed quality, reliable quality. And so that's what they think of you, JD. That is what the second largest economy in the world thinks about you, that produces the peasants, quote unquote. I mean,
yeah, actually, if you feeling froggy,
you're serious.
Yeah. I'll work that out. You go ahead.
Okay. So while we're trying to get Sam onto the show, we are in a situation where Trump literally was proclaiming that there were discussions going on with China and that we were close to making a deal. And China came out and said, yeah, but see, no, those phone calls haven't actually happened at all. And the only way we will come to the table is if you immediately wipe away all of the tariffs against us. And he doesn't have a choice because Walmart and Target and somebody else came into the Oval Office. They were like, we about to not have anything. Like in 2 weeks, if you don't shut this down, we won't have anything. And people won't be able to buy anything. And the other thing that I found to be hilarious about the Art of the Deal Maker or whatever is that he's on there talking about how egg prices have dropped 87%. It's beautiful. We have so many eggs. Nobody's ever had so many eggs before. And da-da-da-da-da. Well, somebody asked Grok which is the AI for Twitter, formerly known as X, and said, they put in his statement and they said, "Is this true?" And Grok was like, "Yeah, but no, because actually, the price of gas is $3.17, which is pretty stable. It's not too low or too high. But the price of groceries is 20% higher than when he was inaugurated, and
This is the
eggs
problem.
have not dropped 87%. Eggs are actually at the highest rate they've ever been because of the avian bird flu
That they didn't want to talk about.
they didn't want to talk about.
You don't see nothing.
So
Samuel, I sent you a DM over Facebook if you want to show up.
yeah, she dropped the thing in there, and this is a message. This should be a hint and a half to the rest of y'all who be on here, Hatobu, talking and deciding that you just want to comment all the time, but you don't actually want to contribute to the show. We will have you on the show.
You ain't said nothing but a word.
It ain't nothing but a thing, and ain't nothing but a chicken wing, and that goes for you too, Dana Cunningham. If you,
I was just about to say,
we have more. We had twice the Cunningham up in here. We be back at the redecorating the White House with good cherubs, Lord. So, this is that's right. We are in such a bizarre time in this country, and I can't imagine what it's like to be Miss Levitt, that we call Caroline. She's the reason for the word. Just
witch.
Yeah, witch. We be trying to put it back in the car and crash. Bitch. Just play it. You need a golden calculator to divide. So
that's a great song.
Yeah, it is. It's an amazing
You know
song.
what we didn't talk about while we sitting here reminiscing about music?
Right.
Is the music in Sinners. And it's very hard to talk about how poignant it is without either overhyping or spoiling like several sections, but just understand this is a soundtrack worth buying. I don't think it's different from the score, but it's definitely a soundtrack worth buying. And there's a moment where you'll understand when you see it, this is why you needed to see this movie. I'll just put it that way.
Coogler does such a good job of bookending. And one of the things that I will say is that he made a particular choice as a writer and a director. And this isn't really. Hey, there he is! Look at that. Thank you for joining us.
I'm a real person, guys.
You are a real person. You're not just an avatar. Welcome, Samuel Levon, to the show. Introduce yourself, Sam.
I'm Samuel Levon, guys. I literally just got in from work and I ate while I stopped Beyond the Gates to watch you guys.
Oh, not Beyond the Gates. So, what is your feeling about Beyond the Gates since you brought it up?
Well, as a longtime soap viewer, I love it. Actually, I love.
Oh, really? Okay.
I love to see it in a way that we've never seen it before with Black people. Usually, when we're on a soap opera, you can only tell us in one way, and when you don't have to treat every character or every Black character like the magical Negro, it tells an actual real life story of how, not all Black people are bad, not all Black people are good. Some of us are in between. It just tells a real story. And what makes this soap opera a little bit different is that it feels more like a city. Imagine like Girlfriends taking a serious tone, involving their families.
Okay. So, more depth to it.
Depth to the characters.
So did you watch Generations when it was on?
So I was too young to know what it was. But I have gone back and seen.
I'm just saying that because my daughter actually had a cameo in Generations as a baby.
She did?
So for you to say that you were too young to watch Generations just makes me feel extra. old right now. She was a baby and had a cameo. I even have it on video. She was the fantasy baby. One of the characters, there was some mystical something that happened, and she touched a thing, and it gave her visions of the future. And the man she was in love with ends up with her sister. And
I have to go and watch it. I'm sure it's on YouTube.
Dream baby.
I'm sure it's on YouTube. When COVID was going on, I spent a lot of time watching soap operas from the 70s, 80s.
Oh, okay.
So
the golden era of soap operas.
Era soap operas. So for did you did you watch My Kind of People, Our Kind of People?
I did.
The Fox evening soap opera.
Yeah, and then the writing kind of lost its way, which is what I guess they realized they all
like soap operas. You can tell they're in their end stage when they start doing twins and what is it, amnesia and getting kidnapped. Once they start those arcs, this show is almost over.
Well, I will say this because I enjoyed Our Kind of People. Not the least of which reasons is that I'm friends with one of the cast members. But I felt that there was a point in the season where every episode turned into like cramming 3 episodes into one. Stuff was just happening really, really fast.
Because it was coming to an end. Yeah.
It was and they left it on such a cliffhanger that I was like, please finish this on YouTube. I don't care. I need to know if she's dead. Did she get shot? What's going on with the daddy? You know, I really wanted to see all of that. But it's good to hear that now that I've heard that somebody appreciates it, I will give it a chance. I don't get to watch soap operas, and so I don't. But because of Beyond the Gates, I was like, okay, you know, maybe I can get it on Hulu or something and go back and watch it because if it's at all enjoyable. Then I'd like to see.
Well, I don't care about sharing my accounts with people, so I would definitely, if you want CB Paramount Plus.
Oh, it's on Paramount Plus. Oh, I have Paramount Plus. Oh, okay, so I can watch it on Paramount Plus.
You can watch it anytime, but just keep in mind, after a year, they tend to delete the episodes to make room for the next season.
Oh yeah, because it's a daily. So
yeah, because it comes on every day.
Okay, so I'll have to
information to hold.
Yeah, I'll try to binge it and at least a couple of episodes just to see. Is there a particular one that you think is a good on ramp, or should I just start at the very first one because that lays it out?
So in particular, you do need to watch the first week.
Okay.
Which is the first 5 episodes, so you understand like the dynamics between
of the relationships,
of the characters and the relationships.
Okay.
But it's very classic soap opera. Which Carla Mosley, I don't know if you guys know who that is, but just whenever you get a chance, look her up. She is, she is so, like, a lot of people are comparing her to Erica Kane.
Oh,
which I mean, I didn't like Erica Kane, so.
But you had she was a force. Right.
I never even watched that soap, but I know who Erica Kane is.
And I'm Erica Kane, exactly.
And I hated All My Children, but that's neither here nor there.
Those are my grandmama stories.
Right.
If you staying with grandmama, you got to watch the stories when the stories come on.
Yeah. So she's kind of like a mixture between Erica Kane, Drusilla from Young and the Restless.
Okay, I remember when they flipped her because she started out hood as hell, and by the end of her run, she was.
Oh, let's also not forget
Toity.
When she came on, she just could not read because apparently black people from the hood,
right? You either had to be a criminal or abandoned and adopted by white people. Like those were your options
all the time.
And your mother named you Drusilla.
I like that though. I like Drusilla, but everybody called her
hood fashion. Ain't nobody called that. She was Drew.
She was Drew.
Right. Drew I can rock with, but Drusilla? I would have believed Drusilla before Drusilla.
Boo. She could be Drusilla. Maybe she saw the name somewhere and liked it.
To me, she's a mixture of the character, I won't say the main character because it's an ensemble cast, but the breakout star of the show is Carla Mosley, who plays Danny Dupree. And she's a mixture between, to me, Erica Kane, Drusilla, and Sammy Brady from Days of Our Lives.
Okay.
So she just be going off the deep end all day long.
Yeah.
Now, be ready for the roller coaster, because it's a roller coaster the whole week. But yeah,
very cool. So I'm glad to have you here, because I've been wanting to like meet you and talk to you in real time.
y'all, the allergies in Austin, Texas is, y'all have no idea. 2-3 months you go trying to fight allergies. I literally just came out of it, which is now I'm just kind of dealing with the cough. But also I started, all my jobs are part-time because I just refuse to work anywhere full-time with the way jobs treat people. And I just made that decision for myself. So it wasn't that I didn't want to be on. It's just between being sick, having to go to work, the time that I get off.
Right. It just wasn't working for you. So yeah, I'm glad to have you tonight. You know what? Can I ask you a personal question?
Sure.
How old are you?
I am 38.
Okay. I'm asking for a reason, because I just had something like pop up on my feed. Like if you saw my eyes go off to the side, I just had something pop up talking about younger voters and their disillusionment with everything. And I remember the discussions that we've had in the chat before, where you're like, I just not feeling nobody. And that is a very prevalent thing, to the point where some younger voters are leaning Republican, not because they believe the bullshit that's happening now, but because they don't see the Democrats.
It's all about vibes. It's all about
they're
vibes.
not getting the vibe from anybody. So I might as well vote like my dad then. Or, well, this one I got a better shot of, like I mentioned before, getting a girlfriend if I vote over here, and we just take rights from women. So that's my one issue now. But so I want to talk to you about your disappointment, if I'm reading correctly, with our current Democratic Party as a whole. Like, what's aggravating your soul about them?
Good question. It's a loaded question. So, just for starters, it is them constantly trying to keep the status quo when that literally has gone out the door.
Yeah.
Like, what it's like still trying to type on the typewriter, and everybody around you is literally on an iPad, and you just over here still trying to say, hey, look, I got my work done, but it's taking you, 50 years.
Yeah, they're still using whiteout to fix typing errors, and everybody else is over here doing like ChatGPT.
Yes.
I've seen that as well. As a matter of fact, the last time somebody called me for a donation, I told them why they could get all the way the hell up off my phone in a very polite and professional way.
I told them there are many ways to hell. Pick one and go.
Wow, not pick one.
Right. You can take the bullet train, or you can take the L to the O to the S.
What are the lyrics? I don't care how you get there.
And take the A train.
Right. Get there if you can.
If you can.
Good shot to go to hell with Dante.
Well, thank you so much, Anthony, because this back don't say so.
Nah. You looking good, my friend. Looking good. Don't let nobody tell you different. Yeah, if people don't want to pinch your cheeks, they're not doing life right. Because that's all I want to do right now. Like, look at you.
Thank you.
But I also want to keep this conversation going, because one thing that I really, really wish a lot of constituents, like I'm talking like 38 and under, like 40 and under, I want y'all to put us out. I want y'all to overtake the Democratic Party and get rid of the stupid things that are happening. Now, the status quo things, people trying to play checkers when everybody else is playing chess. Better yet, they sitting here trying to play go fish, and we all the way in poker, right? You're not doing it right. So there are some things to be learned. There are some, continuity of the law. I want people that want to get into office to know the law. Don't come in saying crazy things like you've seen with like the Marjorie Taylor Greenes of the world that don't even know how due process works and don't understand the rule of law. They just used to be somebody's cheerleader, and now they're in government. But there are a lot of people and
she also don't understand that she was the first human, the first woman with that face that she has, it looks real butch.
Oh yeah, bleach. What is it? Bleach blonde, bad
Bad
build.
build, bleach blonde,
Butch body.
butch body.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so this is my question. What in a perfect world, what would you like to see from the opposition party? Because I'm not even gonna call on the Democrats. They may not even be that name for a while, but what do you want them to do?
So my thing is not so much about them winning, right? I don't live in this world of like, when it comes to government, I don't believe in the whole win or lose, because yes, the Republicans won, but everybody's losing.
Right.
So what does that even mean? So the way that I want the Democratic Party to move is, I understand that you cannot bribe your constituents, but support them. Even if you lose, find ways to support your constituents in a way that maybe even others who did not vote for you can see that look at what these people are doing for these people, and the party we voted for ain't doing nothing for us. Like, you can still support your people and not necessarily be in power. You can send a check to somebody, or help
What
somebody.
you doing? Yeah.
Go pay for somebody's tuition. Go do something. Help somebody's mama who cannot get her medicine. Like, those things can be done. That has nothing to do with trying to bribe somebody for their vote. It's all about taking care of your people when they really need you.
And this brings me back around to something that I got criticized for a lot a couple years ago, which is saying they need better PR. I was speaking about Vice President Harris at the time, and she wasn't even running. This is before she even started running for president. This is when she was just Vice President Harris. And I was like, I don't know what she's doing. I don't know how she's spending her time, and I think she needs better PR. That was not me trying to say she wasn't doing her job. That was me saying the society is not talking about how well she's doing her job. She needed better PR. And we see how that is pushed forward. Now, some of the things that you're talking about, Samuel, are actually happening. Living in Atlanta, I see it all the time because we have a black mayor. We've had a black mayor for 2 generations at this point.
I know. I used to live there. Sometimes I miss
we go taking it all the way back to Maynard, right? But our mayor has, matter of fact, Andre and Keisha before him have Instagram, and they're very active on there, and they let people know what they're doing. Matter of fact, there was a video going around of the mayor being like at a private event. It looked like a club, but it was a private event at a restaurant. But every restaurant in Atlanta got the grass wall.
Got a grass wall.
It's gonna be that.
Yeah.
But he was in there like, this, and they're like, what? Why is the mayor out again? But at the same time, he was there because it was a voter drive, right? Or recognize, and he speaks specifically about, I'm out here in Acres Homes doing this thing with the elderly. We just built 17 homes today. We're doing this, or I'm over here. We just made this thing for the homeless. That level of local government is visible in Atlanta, which is why we rock with our mayor so tight. Other places, and there's a disconnect though between the mayor of Atlanta, the governor of Georgia, and our senators and our representatives, some of whom's names we don't even know, right? Yeah. I need them to be out here with my mayor saying, yeah, we're doing this together. I passed a bill in Congress that gave him the funds to do this thing for your grandmother, right? I need to talk about what they're doing so I can appreciate why I sent them up there in the first place.
That is one of the biggest downfalls of the Democratic Party, is that they do not talk enough about what they are doing. Yet, I'm not saying don't oppose Trump, but your talking point just can't be Trump is bad.
Right.
Because hell, we know. And if you don't, well, we ain't got time to talk to you. Keep it moving. Like, they want to, when you have people like Jasmine Crockett, AOC, they want to, it's like they want to silence them.
Yeah.
And I think it's really, for one, they cannot keep up with them girls. They don't know what they're doing.
Right.
But they want to tell them that they don't know what they're doing, but it's really the Nancy Pelosi's and I'm gonna just even say it, Maxine Waters, baby, it's time to go. Everybody who is, it's
take
just
your
time.
rest.
It's just time. You did what you did, and thank you. But
and this is one of the reasons that even at the age of 107, people still rock with Bernie, because Bernie listens. He's out on tour with AOC. He has been a big proponent. He's been a proponent of radical change for a number of years, and he also in his prime was told to be quiet by the Democratic Party. He was independent for a long time, and he's like, well, let me come over here. He's never been anything other than what he told you he was, and that authenticity reads well with the younger generation, which is why people still like Bernie, right? But if you can't get like Bernie and embrace and support, not try to lead over, but push up this next generation. He's like, she's got it. Listen to her. She's doing the right thing. They can't do that without centering their own ego. They're not much better. They're still better than the alternative, but they're not much better, because you end up stagnant doing the same thing.
Exactly.
And it's where the refrain of left wing, right wing, same bird comes from. You've got people on the Democratic side who are institutionalists, the Chuck Schumers, the Nancy Pelosi's, these older installed people who are used to the way that things used to run when things did run. And on the Republican side, you've got a base that is animated by the leader. And so they let that animated base drive their party, because that's where the votes were. The Democrats aren't paying attention to where the votes are and where the potential votes are. And so they're just like, but we're better. We're not the crazy person. And it's like, but that's not what people are trying to hear. Jasmine is a fighter. AOC is a fighter, and they're not going to win everything. Part of your messaging can't always just be, but we're not in power.
Right.
Only so much we can do. To Sam's point, you can do more. You can be talking more shit. You can be embarrassing, because that's what Jasmine's embarrassing. If Marjorie Taylor Greene had any sense of sense or decency, she would be embarrassed to ever be on the same screen with Jasmine.
It's clear that Marjorie Taylor Greene ain't never had to be in Yo Mama joke arenas.
No,
she crazy.
And Mary J. Shay had a good point here about you still need the old guard to mentor the new people with institutional knowledge. I agree with that, but you can mentor. I agree with that, I agree with that. And they can mentor from the back. And that ego is what is allowing them to, or is what's forcing them to still be in a stagnant state of mind, but I'm in charge. I'm the speaker. I'm the head of this. I'm the committee chair, whatever. You can do that, be that, but let the voices be the younger voices and support them instead of trying to secretly tear them down behind closed doors.
Well, to Marie's point, because I was just going to say that, the problem is that, and it's just a tale that's been told over plenty of years in time, is that older people tend to, instead of like trying to lift up the younger people, it's always, you don't know what you're doing, you don't know what you're talking about,
right?
And that's,
you don't have enough years yet,
right? And I think if the Democrats made the Democratic Party look younger, like just in looks overall, they would win.
There's a whole lot of Crypt Keepers. Matter of fact, who was it? It was Nikki Haley that said the group that got rid of their old guy first would be the group that won. Now we put up a woman, and America is what it is. But how old is Kamala Harris? She's in her early 60s, right, or late 50s?
I want to say late 50s.
Yeah, I didn't think she was 60 already.
Okay,
I mean, we can Google that.
But yeah, she's in her late 50s, and she was considered young, right?
Yeah, to be.
Oh, she's exactly 60.
She's 60 years old.
When did she turn 60? When is her birthday?
Her birthday is October 20th. She's a Libra.
Okay.
Okay, so she turned 60 right before the election.
Right before the election,
Mhm.
which is still 28 years younger than Trump.
Chan I had showing out, but he's got a point here. The DNC legacy leadership feels like what would happen if they went back to high school and be the cool kids. Like, come on, everybody, let's do the Cabbage Patch.
What is?
That's exactly how I felt when they did that bullshit about kneeling down in the foyer of Congress with those kente cloth hats on. Who told you to do that?
Please don't remind me.
Who said this is how you get the black vote? You go out there looking like they might as well start rapping.
We don't even be wearing damn dashikis.
Yo, we have to Chan's point. We have not worn though that specifically that colored kente cloth pillbox hat or square hat since like 1993.
That just hurt my brain.
That's some fight the power of African medallions.
Right. It's some C. When did CB40 come out? Because that's when that hat was popping.
CB4.
Oh my God.
I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black.
When I'm black, when I'm black, y'all. Yeah.
Oh my God.
When Ron Howard came on screen and said, I got my wife pregnant to sweat from my balls.
What?
That was a line in CB4.
Oh,
Ron Howard,
wait a minute.
and one of the CB4 songs was "Sweat from My Balls," and he said that he was making love to his wife when his daughter was conceived. Mm-hmm. So every time you hear "Sweat from My Balls," go see CB4. It's an excellent. It's not Ryan Coogler worthy.
Find it and watch it. This 30 years old at this point.
We're gonna get you into that movie theater, Sam. Now that you on screen, you can't.
Well, so
wear a mask, wear a shiesty.
When y'all were talking about the Sinners movie, I've just been on this. I'm just like, you know what? So let me tell you what I've done. I went and got my birth certificate. I made a copy of my birth certificate, my ID, and my Social Security card, and I had all those things notarized. So I keep it in the car. My thing about going out right now is that I feel like this administration, you could be hanging out at a bar, at the movies, or whatever, and they come in and raid the place at your most vulnerable moment, and you're obviously not going to have those things on you. They're already detaining U.S. citizens for 5 hours to, I guess, I don't know, make sure they don't send them away to El Salvador.
Right.
But who's to say that even then they won't, depending on what you look like.
Right. It's another good reason to stay on social media. So if you end up getting got real quick, hey everybody, I'm getting sent to.
No, I know for real.
Somebody call Chuck Hobbs
and keep your power packs and extra batteries and everything because you just
keep them battery packs packing.
So I work at so one of my part-time jobs is that I work at the Boys and Girls Club. And there was one day where I was working and some of the other staff members are like, we was having like this career day. And some of the staff members was like, there's nobody showing up. I'm like, hello, ICE is running around here.
Right.
Looking for, and most of these children are Latino children. They mom and daddies is not gonna let them.
They stand in the house like the Klan is coming for them.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, they barely making it through school. If they can. And not to mention, this administration is now holding children in court.
I saw
to
that.
prove themselves. Like, how can a child? I can't even imagine. I remember I probably was like maybe 4 or 5 years old. And my mama told me, now I have a slight memory of it, but she can tell you better than I can. But I do remember my mom, I was telling my mom I wanted to go over to one of her friend's house because her friend had a kid and we would play, right? And she said, you're not going to Janice's house. And she said, if you want to go, you better walk. Why she told me that?
Did you take off walking?
I went walking. Now, I didn't get far, I managed to get to the grocery store that wasn't too far from the house. And my mom said, after that, I never told your ass to walk anywhere.
I know that's right.
So I'm just thinking, like, if the guy that has saw me wasn't somebody who knew my mom, what could have happened to me? So I can only imagine what those kids could be feeling. Like, probably don't even speak English that well.
And ICE is targeting places where they think anyone with a Spanish or Latin accent is going to show up. So a career fair, the minute you walk towards the building with your resume, you gone. And it's not like you're getting due process. You just get ghosted away. So I don't blame them. And
I've been very vocal about this. I am angry with this entire country. I am angry with the people who did not vote. I'm angry with people who voted thinking that they were going to hurt us. I'm angry at the people who don't understand dog whistles when they hear them. I'm angry with people. Black people have dealt with the worst of this country. And to sit and tell us we don't know what we're talking about when it's actually in our faces. Like, I'm not going to tell the guy who's fought the monster to shut up when he's the only one who knew how to beat him. And that is my frustration. And like, I'm angry with a few friends right now who didn't vote at all.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you don't get exempt. Because you're sitting around thinking, well, this party ain't done nothing for me, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes, listen, I understand we want things to happen. But I would want nothing to happen rather than everything I didn't want to happen.
That is a profound statement. I would rather have had nothing happen than to have had the things happen that have happened since the election. You know, literally nothing would have been better than the something that we got.
It is so frustrating.
What we got is absolutely, and people will say, "This is what I voted for." This is it. You are lying. No Trump voter actually thought he was going to raise prices because he's an idiot.
Right.
None of them voted for that. They really didn't. They did vote for the racist policies of deporting people. Yes. But even the ones who have Z's on the end of their names and Spanish accents didn't actually think that he was going to be coming for them.
And that's the thing.
And that's the
universal truth around America. Yeah.
He's breaking his promises to everyone. All of these people, Dearborn, I'm speaking to you, Chaldeans. I'm sorry. Gaza is leveled now.
Yeah.
Do you think Kamala Harris would have had Gaza leveled? That's the only question you need to ask. Do you think that every Palestinian would be moved out of Gaza if the president was President Harris?
So I have a coworker. I work many jobs, guys. Don't judge me. So I work on the weekends. I do a party bus, and there's
Your life sounds fun.
Okay, helping kids, party buses, shit. Sam.
I do what I want to do. I don't be sticking around. I be going back home until they ready to be picked up. I don't be bothered. I'm like, y'all not gonna keep me in the office all day.
Right. I like it.
And I don't have no children. No, I don't want any. But this girl that I work with, there's a band that plays on the bus while we take them on a tour. I guess I ain't gonna say what her race is. I guess she's Middle Eastern of some sort.
Okay.
And she's been out here protesting here in Austin, getting thrown by the police, and all these things. But yet, at this time when this was all going on, because they were protesting at the University of Texas, and the police was out there just, in layman's terms, just whooping their ass.
Yep.
And me and the other black people who be working the party bus, we just like, we ain't going out there. Is you crazy? And we just like, but the whole time this is happening, now this is during the election time. She's screaming how she ain't voting for Kamala. I'm like, and I told her, I said, well, I don't know what Trump is gonna do different. I'm like, and what's also bothering me about this whole Israel-Palestine thing, I'm not insensitive about it. So I just want to make that very clear. What's pissing me off is that how dare you have all this smoke right here in this country when you sitting in your safe $500,000 home, but won't take your ass over there to do anything about it. If you really about it and you really need to see it, if you're gonna be about it, and if you can't go over there, or if you won't go over there, do something that you know can stop it. And I am just not a big fan of trying to fix the roof when we knew it was a leak 10 months ago.
Right.
Now the roof caving in. Now you out here want to do all this damn work. I ain't building no house.
Ooh, that's deep.
I'm not doing it because you saw the shit leaking in. Excuse my French, but you saw it leaking in, and you neglected it.
And now that the whole roof is caved in, you're looking at me like, what we gonna do? I told you to put some shingles up. Right.
That's my issue with it. It's like, I am not a fan of protesting after the damn fact.
Right.
He in the office now.
We tried so many times to tell people this is not a dress rehearsal. You don't get a do-over. You got one shot to get this right. And they're like, I'm gonna vote for Jill Stein. All right. This one now look at you. But what are you gonna do? What am I gonna do? I did what I was supposed to do.
I'm gonna be watching Beyond the Gates.
Sure did.
Watching
You
movies.
said watching Beyond the Gates.
Watching movies.
You know what I did? I moved to the 3rd floor, so couldn't nobody run up on me from the street because I was living on the 1st floor.
I live on the 3rd floor too.
Right, and like Phil is saying, nothing but more of I told you so. Yeah, I did. Now, I'm not a government official. I'm gonna say I told you so for a long time. If I were, and like Phil is running for a vacant seat, so he's walking the talk. He's doing the thing. My support tends to be more behind the scenes. I'm gonna say I told you so to everybody I see. However, I'm still working voter registration drives with the Deltas. We're still doing local stuff like food drives and supplies for women's shelters and like just the small things that I can do with the means that I have. I'm still doing those things. I'm still advocating. I'm still talking to folks about why it's important to exercise their right and the tenuous situation we find ourselves in. That's what I'm doing. But on Threads and on Instagram and on TikTok, have the day you voted for a motherfucker. Like I want people to feel that pain, right? I'm not going to add to it by letting things, burn around me, but I am going to, I do have a poster of that, but I am going to tell people we could have avoided all of this.
Now listen, I'm definitely in the phase of before I give help, who you voted for.
Yup.
Because I'm sorry, I can't just be blindly helping people who gonna do this shit again.
That part. That's where I think a lot of the I told you so is coming in. It's not so much haha, look what happened to you, but you know what? Live with this. I need this to be a core memory for the entire United States. I need y'all to remember beyond 4 years from now how we got here, so y'all don't do this bullshit again. I need it to hurt enough to be burned in your skull. I need this to be generational trauma for everyone to remember. Remember what happened in 2024. We're not doing that shit again. I need that to be on that level. I need this to be the 9/11 never again. Right?
I was just this week telling my cousin, I said, I feel like I've been blessed and cursed with the you can tell somebody something, but they don't believe you in the moment. But then 10 years later, they come back and tell you that you're right. And I'm just kind of like, well, thank you. But it would have meant more if you would have just listened in the first damn place.
Right.
Well,
and
we sitting here together in shackles. You talking about I should have listened. You damn right.
Yeah, but now we're just all under the sea trying to
under the sea.
Under the sea.
Under the sea.
But yeah, I think this has been I just happened to look at the time like, oh yeah, we are hour and 36 minutes in.
Yeah, but see, that's what you get for coming on late, Sam. You
Look,
come on
we
your
gonna
boys
have
and
to,
girls club party bus jobs, then be on time and get into the mix.
No, just next time go live from the party bus so we can be our feet in the street.
You just have
Where
to
is
turn
Sam
off the music
today?
so we don't get a rights violation strike. So don't have any music on the party bus. You can just hum like Baby Shark, I guess. But is there anything else that you would like to say before we wrap? This has been a great show. Anything else besides go see Sinners that you want to tell the people?
Besides Sinners. Honestly, I think the word of like these next 4 years is listen. And I'm not just talking about hearing words. I'm talking about breaking it down, really, and being active in a way that is more than just like right now I'm angry at one of my homegirls because I'm just like, she did not vote. One of my homeboys didn't vote. And I'm just kind of like, I love y'all, but
y'all part of the problem.
But y'all part of the problem. And that is my biggest issue with a lot of our community, is because we get so stuck in this space of, well, it ain't done nothing for me. But when things go wrong, that's the first thing being done to you.
Yup.
Because these egg prices hitting everybody, baby.
Well, thank God I don't like eggs that much. So
I got a plug on eggs.
I saw a video of a woman who said she was on her way to her neighbor's house to buy eggs, and she was going to the store to buy something that she wasn't expecting to buy at the store. So it was an inversion. In the Trump times. Child, I'm walking down the street, big old white woman. I'm walking down to my neighbor's house to buy me some eggs because then I got to drive to the store to get me some whatever. And it was just like she couldn't believe it. Like, I can't go to the grocery store for eggs. I've got to go to my neighbor to trade for eggs, basically.
And to your point, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Joy.
No, I was just saying he's right. Yeah, go ahead.
And to your point, Tom, I have been saying that in this time and probably from now on, we're really going to have to really understand what it means to take care of your neighbor. Because I think a lot of people think that's about some metaphoric, phrase about just not doing harm to someone physically. But my thing is that it's not about taking care of your neighbor that you know. It's about taking care of the neighbors that you don't know. Because you don't know who's dealing with what when you go inside your four walls. You know what I mean? And when you go in that voter's booth, that's the true essence of what it means to take care of the people you do not know.
Yes. I'm not voting my own special interest. I'm voting for things that are going to move the larger community forward. That's what you should be voting for. How can we all get better together?
Listen, when the zombie apocalypse and or our cyborg overlords come, you're gonna need to be able to trade for eggs and know what Miss Jenkins is doing.
The zombie's gonna get me because I'm not doing all of this. I just be running around here dead as hell. Because I'm not. It's too-
He said, I'm not doing all of that. That reminds me of Shaun of the Dead, where the zombies eventually just kind of chilled out.
Just go ahead and take me out of it because trying to constantly run from you is too much.
It really depends on the type of zombies you're dealing with.
Right. If we're dealing with fast zombies, I'm just going to stand outside and get got.
Yeah, no, the rage zombies, the 28 days later zombies, no, it's a wrap.
Yes, a wrap. Go ahead and take
Last of Us zombies, them mad raging ones that be running and stuff.
Right.
You ain't gonna catch me like that.
No, if it's a shambling zombie though, I can live with that. But if we end up with shambling zombies, understand I will take on a Negan-esque role in my community.
Not a Negan.
Oh, so you skipped over old girl. You just going straight to Negan.
Straight to Negan. That's who I'm gonna be. I remember having this conversation with a friend of mine.
You thinking about pain pop out for it.
Be swinging Lucille gonna be a hairbrush.
She'll be a hot comb. She'll be
Lucille
a hot
will
comb.
be a hot
comb. Yes, a hot comb.
Lucille will absolutely be a hot comb. But I remember having this conversation with a friend of mine, and she kept just talking, and I was listening, but I had already reached a conclusion. She's like, sometimes I think about like what it would take to actually like take a life or to like have to kill someone. I don't know if I could do that. And I was like, And she's like, sometimes I just wonder like, what would it take? What would push me to that? And she having all this philosophical discussion, and I'm just listening like, yeah. She goes, I don't know. I just don't think I could do it. Joy, could you? Yes. Yes, I could. I didn't let her finish. I've been waiting on you to get to Joy. Could you? Yes, I could.
First of all,
once you understand that about yourself, you figure out where you're gonna be.
Because you know what? Anybody who has that sort of hesitation is definitely not in my crib during the zombie apocalypse. You saying you can't? Sorry, click, lock, boom. You going ahead and be shambling because as soon as you come shambling to my door, it's going to be a knife in your forehead.
And sometimes you got to take out the whole bloodline so they don't repeat themselves again.
Listen, we don't need any cowards in the Terminator 2 Zompocalypse. No, we need people who are willing to fight.
No queasy.
Straight up.
No hesitation.
No queasy. Axe to the face.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I would love to come back, guys.
Please do. Please do.
I feel like
you are welcome. You have an open invitation. First of all, Sam, anybody who can make Joy go wow 3 times in 20 minutes, no, you back, bro. You free pass. Just let us know. Just
crazy.
It's Thursday. I got something to say. Got you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it might be like a peep in. I may not.
You can pop in, peep in, whatever you like. If you like you did tonight, be in the comments like, "Hey, I'm at the door. Let me in."
Hey, Joy, I want to be on the show. Yeah, that's fine. We got you. Because now she knows how to reach you, and we know that you can follow instructions and click a link and show up on screen. That
not a podgasm.
3 times in 20 minutes.
Well, Joy, I want one.
Listen, this has been an after dark in almost all meanings of the word.
Yes,
podcasms and break me off one and kick hours.
I love that show.
Yeah, we love this show, and we love you, Sharpies. Thank you so much for joining us this week.
Real quick, where's Jermaine?
Okay, so Jermaine has got a lot going on in his life, and he emailed us last week and said that he didn't feel that he could like give the time that he needed to give. So we should have said something about it. We were so busy and up against the wire the last couple of weeks that we didn't take the time to say.
Right.
Jermaine has decided to focus on the things he needs to focus on right now.
Got it.
So he's not. I don't want to be like he's off the show. He chose to redirect his energy So
and he's sharpening his own steel.
yes,
Gotcha.
yeah, but expect great things from Jermaine. Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And from Sam.
And from Sam. Sam has slid on into this third spot. Like
I
it wasn't
mean,
nothing.
look, he's right
Yep.
there. So I will say, I'm Tom Cunningham.
I'm Joy Stevens.
And I'm Samuel Levine.
And this is Steel Sharpen Steel. We will see you all next week. Go see Centers twice on